This is the Holochronicles podcast, part of the Beyond the Blast Doors network. On tonight's show, we've got an awesome guest, an awesome toy, and you guys to share it all with. Hit it, Josh. It's time, Josh.
It is so much time. It's so time. Oh, what an exciting night.
You know, there are moments there where you can you can put a stake in the sand and say, I was doing this on this date, where you just remember, right? Like, I remember, even though I was very young, I remember when Mount St. Helens blew, right? That was just in the backyard. Like, I remember exactly what I was doing when I heard about 9/11. I was on my way to work.
Oh, wow. Wow. A lot of catastrophes we have here.
This is not a catastrophe, Josh. This is very exciting. A moment to behold in eternity for myself. And maybe you too, Josh. Maybe you'll be like, I remember that night we potted about this holy grail item that Andy finally got. Oh man.
What a day for Andy. Look at you. What a day. Just bask in it right now. Just bask in it. I
mean, all of the world's ails are falling off me like water on a duck. You know what I mean?
So that's what we need to say. Like, tonight, for these next 50 to 75 minutes, just let it all go. Just let it all go. Let Andy take the wheel.
Isn't that a song?
No,
it's not. Okay,
it's not. At least it's not a good song. But not yet.
Josh, before we get to that, we have a guest that I'm really excited to have on. We've been trying to get him on off and on for about 6-7 months now. We tried to get him on the summer. We kind of flaked out, and then
you flaked out. I mean,
maybe it was me. Probably it was me.
It was me.
But he's got an awesome Star Wars resume. He's got a unique background, which allows him some access into Star Wars celebrations and Comic-Con panels that I think you're going to really enjoy listening to. And what makes him fit right in with us, he's got an awesome basement collection.
Fit right in.
So
what lets him leapfrog us is just an awesome basement collection. So,
Josh, if we could bring in our new friend, Mr. Thomas Harper. Ladies and gentlemen.
Woo,
here we go.
There he is.
Thomas
Harper, sir. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thomas, right away when you joined up here with us this evening, I couldn't take my eyes off of what was over your left shoulder there. The Vader strangling that poor rebel officer. Is that a sideshow piece?
It is a sideshow piece. It was my very first sideshow piece.
Oh.
And before we started recording, I characterized sideshow and I'll lump Hot Toys in with it. Collecting those things is like falling down a never-ending rabbit hole that just takes out of your wallet every time you bump the wall as you fall down it. But that was the start. You're looking at it.
That's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Well, Josh, and those that have listened to us know that Josh is a newfound sideshow collector himself. What do you have, about 5 now, Josh?
Yes, I have 5. Well, technically I have more than 5, but I have to wait till my birthday to get the next one. Darn my wife. She got her Christmas presents mixed up. Oh, well, that's all right.
So you got to wait till March?
I know, April.
April, right. Cheapers. Right, my birthday's in March. Right,
yeah,
I forgot. I forget, man.
So, did you hear that, everyone? His birthday's in March. So.
Yeah, don't forget. Thomas, don't forget.
You guys have to get a winter birthday like mine. I have a month between Christmas and my birthday, so that's how you have to do it.
Oh, it's just a whole fourth quarter celebration for you.
Right.
That's beautiful.
Right.
It's beautiful. Before we get going here, let's make sure we say hello to everyone in the chat. We got a lot of people joining us right now, which is great. We got Scuba Pete. We got Vader's Girl just popped in. Blue Harvest Vintage Toys. Of course, our friend Matt is in the house. So thank you so much. JD Sleesman's here. Nick Milky, of course. Thank you for joining. Make sure you like, subscribe, share. Most of you guys in here have already liked and subscribed, so share. And,
yes.
Let's get some more people in. But
so,
yeah.
Thomas, we got a question right off the bat. Sorry, I clicked the wrong one here. John from the Super Awesome Geek Show asks, wasn't he the guy on the toy collecting panel at Celebration 4?
I noticed the all caps "the guy," and I would never describe myself as the guy. Actually, I wish it were. My first celebration wasn't until Celebration 5 in 2010, but maybe I traveled back in time and I just don't know it yet.
Maybe he was just wrong.
Yeah,
maybe he's
this is a good segue though, because Thomas, you are an Army JAG officer, right? Are you currently still?
Yeah, so I was formerly active duty. Now I'm on the reserves, which gives me the benefit of not having to pack all of this up every 2 years, which was my life before that.
Well, Thank you for your service to begin with. And this career opportunity of yours has opened some really unique doors insofar as panels at Comic-Cons and at celebrations. How did you get into presenting and hosting panels?
Like a complete accident is how I would characterize it. I came back from Afghanistan in 2013, and I had been a fan of Dragon Con, which for those of you that haven't been there, it's Atlanta every year, one of the bigger shows in the country, about 80,000 people or so. It's always over Labor Day every year, and it is bar none the best show that's out there. If I could pick one convention to go to every year,
okay,
I would be it, hands down. So I go. I had been there before, but they have a dedicated track of Star Wars panels all weekend long. And I sat in the audience and I was like, I could do this. Like, that would be fun to be up on stage. And they always have a few collecting panels. That was what interested me at the time. They also had some like really nerdy, like in-depth canon discussion panels. So like discussing like, crime families in Star Wars and stuff like that. And so at the end of the show, I got up to the track director, and who's a fan herself, and I said, keep me in your mind for next year. A few months went by, I pitched some panels, and that was my first year ever doing a panel at any show. It just so happened to be at that one. And then fast forward until, what was the first year I did Celebration? 2017? Yeah, 2017. I'm trying to think if that was Orlando. I, out of the blue, just pitched a panel on the military of Star Wars. It's been a huge interest of mine, obviously because of my background. But if you saw any of the pictures of my collection, how big a fan of the clones I am. How big a fan of like Imperial troops and all that stuff that I am. So it was always an interest to me. I had one other buddy of mine that I had been on panels with it at Celebration. We pitched it, having no expectation to get picked up. And we got picked up, and he says, well, nobody's going to come if it's just the two of us. It's one thing to get the panel, but that doesn't guarantee anybody will be in the room. And he was like, why don't we just reach out to Jason C. Fry, the author that wrote the novelization for The Last Jedi, and he's got a stack of Star Wars books to his name that's taller than me. I was like, well, Jason? That's awesome. He's like, no, I don't know him. I was just going to DM him and see if he could be into it. And I was like, all right. Well, I mean, the worst
that always works.
Denied. Yeah. And he said yes. And so it was, and then the next hurdle was the fact that we were scheduled at the exact same time as the marquee Last Jedi panel. So the trailer drop at Celebration was at the exact same time as us. I told my friend John, I said, well, they've only got so many seats in that arena, and there are a lot more people at Celebration. So there are going to be a lot of disappointed people that are looking for somewhere to go as a consolation prize. Why couldn't it be us? And so at 2 a.m., I was wandering the queue hall. Like, yeah, I had like Jason C. Fry books in my hand, like yelling. I went into the men's room several times, like yelling about our panel. Like, hey, if you don't have a seat at The Last Jedi, why not listen to a couple of schmoes talk? And we filled the room. It was an absolute blast. I got the chance to do a different variant of the panel at Chicago in 2019. We had Jason back out We also had 2 or 3 other big YouTubers, and Alexander Freed, who wrote the Alphabet Squadron books and Twilight Squadron. Absolute. I don't even like remember half of it because I like blacked out during the panel. And then outside of that, go ahead. Yeah.
I was going to say, good thing that it's on YouTube. There are video clips, and we'll post them this week, just to kind of keep it going here. But you can find them. You can find them on YouTube, and I got to watch. Well, it's not one. I saw the beginning of the one you're talking about with Freed and Fry, and I think Star Wars Explained.
Yep.
That one, I'm going to finish that one probably tomorrow. But the one that I saw that I thought was really, really cool was the court-martialing of Poe Dameron.
Yes. I will live in infamy having convicted Commander Dameron at a fake court-martial. Yeah, so that was like with a group that I blog and podcast with called the Legal Geeks, and so it's a bunch of lawyers who are also geeks, and we take a look at legal issues in Star Wars. So, who's the lawful owner of R2 and C-3PO? Is Kylo Ren entitled to any of Han's estate after he passes away, even though he murdered him? That's sort of like really geeky stuff. So that panel was awesome. We were all in cosplay as everybody on that panel, with the exception of the 2 witnesses, Leia and Poe, are all attorneys. So it's me and another attorney that are prosecutors dressed as resistance officers. We've got a federal prosecutor and his co-counsel as defense attorneys for Poe. We've got Poe himself there in cosplay and in full character, who was phenomenal. And the prosecution witness was General Organa herself, also in cosplay. And we had a federal judge overseeing the whole thing. And we had the audience sit as a jury. The judge heard objections. I mean, it was done like a real court-martial is. And it was just a total blast. And it's up on YouTube. It's just a lot of fun.
This is why I would go to a con. Oh, my goodness.
Exactly.
That sounds like so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm not a huge. I mean, I'll perform my civic duty and serve on juries, but this is awesome.
And I was surprised. I came out at if you guys have been out to Comic-Con, you know they don't clear the room before each panel. So a lot of folks were staked out for the panel before and were staying. And I got up to the mic at the Q&A and I said, look, I'm going to raise an objection. There seemed to be an awful lot of Poe-friendly people in this jury. I can't have any of you in here. This is bogus. You guys need to get out. We need to get some neutral folks in here. But yeah, that was sort of the tone of it, just like hamming it up to the nth degree.
So how did the crowd react? How did they take it? Were they participating properly? Were they?
Oh yeah, I was blown away. I figured going in there, as popular as Poe is, and as much, because like people still talk about The Last Jedi now, say 3 years later, but at the time, this is like 7 months after it came out. So the discourse on it was still red hot. And that scene in particular where he disobeys Leia and then gets slapped over it was, a big talking point. And so I just assumed that everybody would come to Poe's defense and be like, you guys are being blowhards as the prosecutors. He's totally innocent. But I won't totally spoil it, but I was surprised by the reaction that happened. It was not a close vote.
That is.
So he got convicted.
Well, let's just say he's going to be spending his time in the Star Trek universe based on the judge's ruling.
The Star Trek. What a punishment! Jeez, he's really going to have to figure out science at this point.
Right. You convicted. You got Poe court-martialed, and what was it like representing the Mos Eisley Cantina owner in a discrimination against droids suit with C-3PO and R2-D2?
Yeah, I have to imagine that as everybody's growing up watching A New Hope for the first time, when you watch the cantina scene, if you're like me, the first thing that popped into your mind wasn't like, look at these cool aliens, or I wonder, whether Obi-Wan is going to use his lightsaber. It's like, well, that's not right that R2 and C-3PO get thrown out of the cantina. We did this at WonderCon, a mock trial where R2 and C-3PO sue the cantina for discrimination. And I got to be the high-paid, in-house counsel for the cantina. We had, black suits on and defended the bartender wooer's right to throw these non-paying droids out of his cantina there.
Loiterers. They're just loitering.
So let me ask you this as a follow-up, perhaps. Which party were you defending? I forgot. I'm sorry.
The cantina. They were totally justified throwing those droids out.
I see. So as a follow-up, when you watch, say, The Mandalorian, as time has progressed, how do you feel about the culture change that has obviously shifted, and these droids now own the cantina? Are you feeling like maybe your defense was weak, or you just were, a sign of the times?
Well, look, like any good corporate attorney, I'm like a wind vane, and I will blow wherever the direct wind is blowing. And so, to keep their business as a client, I would say whatever droid or sentient being bought that place and made that decision, totally within their rights, and wooer can go eat it wherever.
This is so much fun. To actually have like a professional, just saying words and terms that nobody would ever pull out of their, only lawyers can do that, right? So,
see,
fantastic.
there's cosplaying, and then there's doing what you're a pro at as a part of your cosplay, right? This isn't really a stretch here. This is hitting the sweet spot of career and hobby meshing into one here. This is perfect. It's perfect. Like nobody in Star Wars wants to learn math. I mean, like, come on. Like, where does that happen? So obviously, this is awesome.
Parsecs, we don't even know what that means. Is it time?
Yeah,
is it distance? We don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows, man? Who knows? Well, Thomas, let's get into your collection a little bit here. Every week we try to do a little feature on our website at beyondtheblastdoors.com, where we feature a follower's collection. And we've been sitting on yours for a while, but I got to tell you, your basement is one of the coolest basements I've seen. You've got so much to look at. The pictures, I'm overwhelmed just looking at one of them because I feel like if I was actually in that room, I could spend an hour and maybe have moved 5 or 6 feet.
This is actually how Andy just stays at your house.
I'm only 10% through, so I'll just be here for a while.
Right.
So let me ask you this: when did you start collecting? Let's start there.
Man, whatever the delay was between watching the bootleg VHS of A New Hope as a kid, and in '94, I think it was. Hasbro came out with the original Power of the Force line, the orange line. And so I had first seen it maybe in '93. So what is that, a year between the two? Because when I first watched it, they weren't actively producing any toys. I think there were like some Bendhams and stuff like that. So I was like starved for any kind of Star Wars toys because my parents didn't have any of their own that had been saved. And I remember distinctly going to Toys R Us for the first time and seeing that original line of like Leia, the like Hercules buff Luke, and actually Leia's kind of built like that too. The Vader, I forget, it was like 5 or 6 figures, but just being completely enthralled. And my life was built at the start as a collector around those figures. And in fact, I don't have them on display yet, but I still have a lot of the carded figures from that era just squirreled away. I mean, they're not worth much of anything, but like the nostalgia value is so high.
Yeah. You started in the dark times.
Yeah, I was just gonna say those are the dark times.
Yeah.
But you look like a young fellow. How old are you? You don't have to admit it, but
no.
Just judging by your age, so you're an OT guy then. You really like the original trilogy.
Yeah, so when I first watched it, this was like the period right, I would say the darkest of times, because I watched it. I literally thought that the commercials that were taped with the VHS were part of the movie the first time that I watched it through. I didn't understand that you could just watch it without Charmin toilet paper in the middle of a scene. And in '97, the special edition hit theaters, and that was my first opportunity to see it on the big screen. And I just remember my dad being like giddy to take me for the first time. And he like, so much so in A New Hope, I had my big bucket of popcorn. He made me put it aside and he was like, just wait. I know you've seen this movie before, but just wait until the first scene is over, because you have to experience this. And I don't want you like munching through it. And it just blew me away. And we like that spring, I think they released them in sequence over the course of a few months. And, you know, I was already hooked, but that, you know, that just completely reeled me in. And then from there, a short time later, the prequels came along.
Mm-hmm. Are you a prequel fan? Did you go into the prequels wanting what they gave you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm part of the generation, so I'm mid 30s right now, but I was sort of a young teen as Phantom Menace hit, and this was 8th grade for me when it came out. I like recorded the trailer off of TV and brought the VHS tape in and convinced my homeroom teacher to let me like wheel the TV on the cart in front of the class and show it to everybody.
You're not that young. I remember that too. That's how it goes.
It's called cruel and unusual punishment under the Constitution. But
yes.
No, I remember camping out for that movie and I just loved it. It was, to me as a kid, it was new Star Wars, and that's all that I cared about. And you know, that this was, we didn't have the internet at the time at my house. So this was like the blinders were on. It was a period of bliss where like just my opinion mattered, right? I didn't talk to anybody that had, you know, there was no internet. There were no like message boards. There wasn't Twitter. And so I didn't have this filter put on me about listening to what other people thought of the movie. And I loved it. I loved all three. Like the Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith came sort of in I would say like a period of my life where I drifted apart from Star Wars for a variety of reasons, but it still stayed pretty close to my heart. So I'm a prequel fan through and through. I'm equal opportunity lover of Star Wars.
That's good to hear. I like how you put that with the like, because I was in the same place. I'm a little bit older than you, but I was still young, and so when the prequels came out, I was just floored. I remember seeing. Because remember the trailers? It was just that, I don't know, that grassy meadow hill, and then the ship, you know, or the transport with the droids rolling out of them. I mean, I was floored. I was like, oh my gosh, this is something we've never seen before. And then of course some lightsabers ignited with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. It was pretty fantastic. I remember feeling like, holy cow. Now, when I went into the movie, I remember thinking like, what did I just watch? So I just had to go back 5 more times. But but it was pretty fantastic. I love hearing that. I love the bootleg. You know, I grew up on some bootleg Star Wars myself, which is so funny because Grandpa, that's how it was, though, right? Remember, you can't, like right now, we're so spoiled, and we have a very short memory. You know, my kids don't even understand. Like, they can click on anything they want, and either for free because we're paying for the subscription, or for a couple of bucks, they can have it in their face right then. We had to wait. We didn't get Star Wars. I had HBO recordings. I remember that. I said HBO recordings. This may go way too far here, Thomas, but I had HBO recordings. You remember HBO, right? Like HBO was like after 10 p.m., then HBO got dirty.
Yep.
So I remember as a little kid, we had a recording, and it was actually the Ewok. What was that? Trail of Tears? No. What do they call it?
Caravan of Courage.
Yeah. Caravan of Courage. Same thing. And then it ended. And then, like, some real stuff that I didn't understand as a kid started. But boy, did I like to watch that movie a lot. I'm like, let's get done with this Ewok crap. And
fast forward.
Yeah, I mean, I had the I think Return of the Jedi was on ABC one night, and so we recorded it on our VHS, and that was the one that we had for a long time. And it was just Return of the Jedi, but
I love what you said. Commercial. You thought the commercials were part of the movie.
Yeah, I would tell you one of my most prized possessions in this collection is not a toy. When I deployed to Afghanistan, there are lots. We had a little bazaar where just Afghan citizens could come and sell their goods and stuff. Bootleg DVDs were a thing there, and a lot of these are coming in from China or Pakistan, and a lot of times it's just like whoever is bootlegging it is their best guess as to what this movie is about and what the translation is to English. And I made it my mission. I was like, I will not leave this country until I find a bootleg copy of Star Wars. It can be a single movie, a box set, whatever. And I found it. It took me like 7 months, 8 months of religiously going to these vendors, but I finally found it. It's glorious. I'll tweet you guys a couple pictures of it. It's horrendous. There's like the mission. I think Star Killer from the Force Unleashed series is like the centerpiece on the box set. It makes no sense. The description on the back is just nonsensical. But it is wonderful, and it is, if I had to run in and just grab a couple things from my collection, that would be one of the two things that I would say.
It makes you smile, right? It's just awesome.
Well, Josh, can we post up some pictures of his room there? I think we got about like 6 or 7 in that article.
By the way, as you're seeing on the screen, just for audio reasons, YouTube, whatever's, this you can go and find it here on BeyondTheBlastdoors.com. We've got a clip Andy has posted in the article about Thomas's collection, so you can see our JAG lawyer here really go at it after Poe Dameron. I don't know how some of you feel. I mean, we might need to really go after this. It looks like this prosecutor is a little over the top here. Maybe too harsh, we don't know, but he makes up for it by having an amazing collection. All right, so here we go. Jeez Louise.
So, I mean, like I said, there's just so much to look at there. The center post in the room is surrounded with lightsabers, like just that. Like,
that's a great idea.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
I mean, you're not going to not mount a lightsaber on a post, I guess. So,
I mean, come on.
Tell me about that Falcon.
Oh yeah, that's the legacy of the Force from 2010. The Banff Falcon. That is, other than the AT-AT that came out the same year, the year after, that's probably the single greatest toy that they've ever produced. And I do not cast aspersions on anything vintage, but in terms of overall like workmanship, quality, value for the money, that's it right there. And it killed me. I really wanted to get the new one that they came out with, the Galaxy's Edge variant, but I thought back to 2010. I think I got that thing for $150, something like that.
That's a good deal.
And they had double or tripled it. I bought 2, and I was downsized, and we got off active duty, and I just had too much. If you can believe that, looking at these pictures. I sold my boxed version of it. It was a nightmare to pack and ship, but had to get rid of it. But I've got this one. My daughter, my 2-year-old, loves to come down. She'll tell me to open it. I pop it open. I've got all the Han and crew in there, and she'll play. She throws the rest of them away and plays with Chewbacca. That's the only figure she's really interested in right now.
Well, that's a great comparison. I mean, Andy and I did a review last week on like you said, the Smuggler's Run Falcon. So I've seen that the 2010 version, but only kind of like non-touchable. Like, it was at a place I wasn't going to spend as much money as they wanted. I think we saw it at a con, didn't we, Andy? Mm-hmm. Even you and I together. Yeah,
I think it was the Rose City Comic Con.
Yeah, I think the going rate then was $300 or $400, which is accurate, I think. But so we weren't going to buy it, but then they came out with the vintage collection, which came out at $400.
Yeah.
Like, why don't we just get the 2010 version at this point? Now we're looking at a little bit of age and, but anyway, so I'm in love with the vintage collection version. I'm like absolutely in love with it. But
yeah, the paint on it looks phenomenal.
It's one of the coolest Star Wars toys I've ever touched. Like, it has so many features, and I'm sure yours does too. I just haven't. I've literally gone. This is the second Falcon I've owned, and the first one was the vintage, the original. So
that's awesome.
Pretty cool.
Well worth it.
I love that. Yeah, I just love it. And then the rest. I mean, you've got a slave there. Is that again another?
Yeah, that was they came out with it. It was like a battle pack. So it was the Clone Wars variant. It came with little Boba Fett.
Oh, okay.
Castus, Aura Singh. It was a massive box. It might have been a Toys R Us exclusive, but this was before they came out with the TVC version in the Empire paint scheme. And so, and I think they've re-released the TVC Slave 1 with the green paint scheme now, matching what it is in Mandalorian. But this one, I hunted for that thing. It's got, you guys know the power of nostalgia. So while I'd like to have the green paint scheme, this one has got a special place in my heart.
Of course.
Sure.
And then all the way on the left is a giant Star Destroyer. What is going on? What is that?
Is that the Lego?
Yes, yeah, that's the Lego.
Oh my goodness!
Awesome.
I had heard a rumor, and I hopefully I'm not jumping the ship on some of the news you guys will discuss, but the rumor is there's a massive UCS Lego set coming down the pipe at some point in the next year or so to rival all other sets. And I was joking with a couple of my friends. I said, it took me forever to put that thing together. And, all the gray, like the shades of gray that you're dealing with, like my eyes would go cross. So I went back and I looked at the piece count. I was like, surely this thing had to be like 8,000, 9,000 pieces. It's like 5,000 pieces, which is a lot. It's a tremendous amount, but it's nowhere near the piece count of this new rumored set. And I just sat back in my seat. I was like, it's hopeless. I'm
in.
I'll never build that, but I'll try.
You just clear out a space for it right now.
That's right. Yeah.
All right, let's move on in case we get some closer views, because this is just another great angle right there. Look at that New Hope. Oh my gosh, what a rug!
It's such a good rug.
Oh,
I stumbled
better
across
than the Walker rug.
Yeah, I stumbled across that at Comic-Con, and the guy was like, "I've only got one of these left," and I was like, "I've heard that before." And so I was like, I knuckled under and wheeled and dealed and bought it, and then I walked around the Comic-Con show floor with it like strapped, this rolled up rug strapped to my backpack, and I got more dirty looks that day than I think I've ever gotten, because I keep bumping into people and they'd realize they got hit with a rug.
That is phenomenal. I just wrote it down. I want to find it. That is top notch.
Yeah, thank you.
I get, what a great entrance. And is that literally going into your room? Obviously, we have the Star Wars room sign right above the door there.
Yep.
That's fantastic. Fantastic. Look at that. Wow.
So here were some of the boxed items you were talking about, right?
I was saying I've drifted away from boxed items for the entirety of my collecting career. I've been obsessed, like singularly obsessed, with having at least one of the items in a box, and I've found that I've just completely moved away from that. I'm like really loving dioramas. The new case in point, the new Cloud City carbon freezing chamber. I'm still trying to find room for that because I bought 2 of them and it's huge. The Tana V4 like hallway diorama I've got pre-ordered, and it's just I think you grow older and your tastes change, but these have served me well.
Very cool.
I think part of the keeping it in the box type of scenario is just that, right? As a kid, what did you think about on Christmas? I mean, you only have that moment.
Yeah.
Open the package, and there's that box. But the first thing you do as soon as you can, because mom's like, not yet, open the rest. And then you go back and you rip it open as fast as you can. I think there's a little bit of, I don't know, reparations going on for your childhood, where you're like,
no,
let's leave it in the box. I'm going to look at it in the box. I know I have that too. But like you said, lately it's just been like, let's take it out. And Andy's way further than I am. He's just like, no, ripping it out. He's throwing the boxes away, which is it's just mind bending, but also, therapeutic in some ways, I suppose.
Yeah.
So
it really is.
Thomas, in this photograph, again, lots of wonderful items. There is one thing I want to discuss with you in this photograph.
The 1980s carpet.
No, I'm down with that.
I'm going with the wood paneling.
No, good guess, but no. There is what looks to be, and I know this because you messaged it to me, but a Phase 2 full outfitted Captain Rex.
Oh, how do I?
Oh my gosh, I'm just like, Josh knows this, but Rex is a top 5, maybe a top 3 character for me in Star Wars. I love Rex, and the fact that you have a head-to-toe Rex kit, it just, I'm so envious. And it is your it's your suit into the 501st. Am I correct?
That is my only approved costume, at least right now, before I fall further down that rabbit hole. I really appreciate it. It turned out really well. It got me approved, which I guess is the goal with the 501st. But it's a lot of fun. I said if I ever dive into the cosplay arena, I don't care what else I do, I will do Rex. And I'm right with you. He's, since the 2008 Clone Wars movie, has just been a character I've been obsessed with. I've got more Rex stuff in here than probably anything else. And the chance to get some armor that's wearable, because it's just sitting on a mannequin. I never thought I'd be excited to order a mannequin as an adult and then run outside, quickly explain to the delivery man why I had ordered a mannequin, and then drag the mannequin inside and assemble it. But that's life when you're an adult. And so unfortunately, the only downside is getting approved in the 501st in 2020 means that there's not been a lot of trooping opportunities.
Yeah.
I've only gotten to do a couple of them. But man, the moment when
you're wearing a mask, I mean, you're fine.
That's true. Well, they make you wear our protocol, and I don't know if it's the same with every garrison, but you have to be masked under the mask. And so
wow, that's
my
tough.
very first troop, I couldn't see anything. I had to have a stormtrooper who could see better than I could, and another squire just maneuvering me into position. It was like a drive-through. It was supposed to be a walk for Down syndrome that's done locally here in my hometown, but they converted it to a drive-through event. I was outside with no obstacles, and they still had to guide me into place. And but it was a lot of fun. And the moment the kids recognize you, and they don't think you're Darth Vader or something like that, but the moment the kids that are Clone Wars fans recognize Rex, it's awesome. That was total validation for all of it. So if you're out there and you're thinking of diving into the cosplay arena, 501st, Rebel Legion, or whatever, it's absolutely worth it. And the community that you're a part of in terms of the other Legion members is just a huge bonus to it all.
And Anthony here has a good comment where he says, I think we're going to get more Captain Rex in the Bad Batch and the Ahsoka series and in the Mandoverse potentially.
Anthony, we are best friends now. I think you're right. And I will find you and give you at least a virtual high five, a double high five when that happens.
Yeah,
I think so too. I think they're reading the tea leaves here. If they put some Rex action in there and they've opened up a couple avenues, I don't see why they wouldn't. I don't see why they they can't not do that if they just want to get people excited. And look, I don't know, Andy, are you ready? Are you ready to build one of these suits?
I'm ready to get my Sideshow Rex. That's what I'm ready to get.
I see. All right,
that'll be this spring sometime.
We keep my 501st attempt over in the corner. He's TK, whatever our Twitter followers are, and we're up to 15 something. Right. So he's TK 1569, and but I failed. I did not get approved because I never even got the dang thing on. I got it together, but there was a thigh issue, and it still remains.
Uh-oh. You gotta get it. Drag yourself across the finish line.
I'm a big boy, and I could not make those legs. I mean, they're all just skinny Brits in there. They're just there's no way I could get them on. So that's why I'm going probably Snow Trooper. They wear baggy pants.
Yeah.
All right, Josh. Before you click to the next screen, I just want to point out he's got a katana.
He does. I see it up there. It's just like we're talking about. Oh yeah, I got the barge. Yeah. I got the barge.
I also have the barge. I mean,
I opened that immediately. There was not even a second thought about that. And it's impossible to see from the picture, but I pulled out every random alien. My goal was to decorate this thing and set it up, not to be screen accurate, but to be if I had the katana as a kid, how would I have played with this thing? And so there's every alien that you can believe and imagine up there. It's a total mishmash of Star Wars everything, but that's how I would have played it with it as a kid. So that's
maybe a couple GI Joes in there, and
that's right. You just
He-Man
mix them
and-
in. Yeah,
and maybe
they're all in the
Starscream.
fight.
Yeah, awesome.
I think that's it. I think that's our last pick. So
Yep.
yeah, that's great.
Well,
What a great shot of your room, Thomas. What a great
Thanks.
collection. What a great room. So how did you get your wife to allow you to do that? Or did you come into the marriage with that understanding?
She married into this.
There you go.
So
that's how it works.
We were on active duty together, and this collection that you see, just about all of it, I think, with the exception of maybe the Lego Star Destroyer, has moved repeatedly. And a military move, if you've done it before, it's a nightmare enough. The stock standard way to do it is the government will contract out to the lowest bidder a moving company. They'll come and send packers and stuff. And in theory, it's convenient and it's a nice perk. But in practice, it's a nightmare because they frequently and often break stuff and don't treat stuff with care. You can do stuff your own. They call it a do-it-yourself move, but it's all on your own dime. It's all your own sweat. And so when we were moving from Georgia, where we had been stationed for a while, to Virginia, I rented what I thought would be a big enough moving truck. I packed everything up, and I'm like loading the stuff up. We lived in Savannah at the time, so it's like 95 degrees out. My wife is like, the stuff's not going to fit in that truck. And I had put like 3 bins in. I was like, you're crazy. There's no way. And I remember getting halfway in and realizing, like, I did the math on the number of boxes that were left inside and realized it was not going to fit in that moving truck. And I just yelled. I sat down in the back of the moving truck and like gave like a Schwarzenegger Predator yell. And but we're off active duty now. I don't have to pack any of this stuff up anymore, and that's the best of it. I can just perfect it, get it to where I want. Just my only worry is dusting it.
That's good. Well, and that's a trial that we've never experienced as collectors, right, Andy? I have never
not yet. Yeah,
I haven't moved my collection as it is now ever. I haven't, not once. And I don't know if I hope to.
Don't do it.
But,
Don't do it.
Yeah.
That'd be a cool garage sale, though.
Yeah.
So, is it Thomas? What would you say? So, like, if you could only focus on one aspect of Star Wars collecting, whether it's posters or vintage figures or vintage collection or sideshow or helmets, which, by the way, where do you get your helmets from? I see the couple over your shoulder there. What kind are those?
Yeah, so the top one is in a Novos.
Okay.
A fiberglass, because they do some of their the bottom one that you can't see is a PVC Stormtrooper Commander. There's a huge difference in the price point that they charge for it. Also, I think you can tell when you just look at them. But the Vader and then the Luke pilot helmet are actually the Hasbro Black Series, and a couple people have asked me, like, especially when the Mando helmet got announced, like, are these things worth it? Do they look? I mean, it's $100. That's expensive, but also, does it look cheap? And I'm like, if you're just displaying these things, I think they look great. I mean, I don't know that they would hold up for cosplay, but for $100 or whatever, we'll see how they capture the Beskar like steel look, the metallic look for Mando. But for my money, it's not a bad thing if you just want it on a shelf under the lights to display. So, yeah.
So then, okay, that's good to know, because Josh has some Black Series helmets. I have some Black Series helmets. I have one EFX helmet. And Josh, do you have an Anovos coming? Or
no, I have I just have a custom build coming from just a random dude whose product looks pretty good. So
okay, so
I think I don't know. That's the deal with these custom builds, is like I put down a deposit.
It's the same with the Novos.
I don't know when I'm getting it. I just have no idea. I contacted him like a month ago, and we'll see, right? But I was going to ask, what are you displaying the Novos helmet on there? Your TIE Fighter pilot. What is it?
Yeah, it's an acrylic helmet stand that I found on Etsy, and there's
that's a good tip.
Sell them, but it's clean. I had them just laying on the shelf for a while.
Right.
I didn't like the look of it. And so I bought these. They're not specifically done for Star Wars helmets, but they work really, really well, like $30 a piece.
Nice.
So Paul's Collectibles here in the chat. He is all about the trooper helmets and he's got a whole bunch of them, and he picked it out right away. He's like, that's an Anovos helmet right there.
Yeah,
and
I put it up. He put that up a half an hour ago.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah,
good eye.
And he's your new best buddy too. So so back to my original question: what if you could only collect one aspect of the Star Wars in the Star Wars genre? What would it be? Would it be the helmets? Would it be sideshow, vintage, or modern? What? Where are you at there?
That's a really tough question, actually. If I had unlimited space, I think sideshow is just so pretty. It's just so good. I will say, I think they've suffered a little bit in terms of like the variety in their stuff. Like for a while there in the 2010s, it was like all they were producing was clone troopers, which for me was awesome because that's like my favorite character type. But there were folks that were like, yo, we like other things. Can you guys leverage your resources to produce other things? But man, their stuff is just so great. I've got a Mythos Boba Fett that's over in the corner from, what was that, 2013, something like that. And when they do it right, it's just unsurpassed, and it's just really, really good and great display items. I have to say the caveat on that is because now that I have kids, I have 2 girls. I think if you want pin me down for my honest answer, it's probably just like standard Hasbro 3.75 figures, because I love the idea. I've got a tremendous amount of loose stuff. I think the reason why I'm gravitating toward opening this stuff out of the boxes is because I let them down here. Well, one's 6 months old, so she's not doing much moving, but I let them down here. I really look forward to the day where we can like break this stuff out and just play with it. Cause like, that's what I did when I went up to some of my family's places that had old Star Wars stuff. They just had toy bins, and that was the life, just like splaying it out and playing the Battle of Hoth or whatever. And the chance to do that with my kids, if it comes at the sacrifice of like a cool looking display item, that's worth it to me.
Wow, so you're kind of a purist then, huh? Letting the kids play with the toys and all that stuff. Yeah. I've got girls, and I let them play with whatever they want. I bought tons of Grogu's, and they all reside in my youngest's room, along with the latest sideshow. What I liked about the latest sideshow is I didn't really feel too worried about taking it off its stand, and they were holding it and cradling it and taking selfies with it, and I was fine because it's pretty rubbery. Awesome. It's not like ceramic. I was like, man, this is kind of durable. So yeah, I like that.
John has an awesome collector's tip here for people who have helmets. He says he goes, I use styrofoam helmet heads for my helmets that you can get at craft stores for like $3, and that's a great practical thing to do if you own more than a few helmets there. That's a good idea, John.
Sure, probably paint them black or something and let them blend.
Yeah, do whatever you want.
I do like that acrylic look, though. It looks like they're hovering. I'm looking at them.
Yeah.
I can see them. They look great, man.
Yeah. If you ever get I would say I don't have any on styrofoam heads, but the Rex kit just it's just a cheap mannequin, like $50-$60 that I found somewhere online, and it looks like Slender Man without the armor on, but it
does. It's creepy. I bought mine, Andy. I bought mine when Macy's closed in our town. I went to Macy's, and like he's pretty ripped, this mannequin, but like in a kind of a thin way. But I remember carrying him out and people looking at me, and I'm like,
don't look at me.
Don't worry about it.
I have a reason.
I did have to cut his face off. So, because the helmet wouldn't go over, he had kind of a pronounced face, because who cares about a mannequin's face, right? I had to literally take a skill saw and cut the front of his face off, which was a very Wild Bill moment for me, but I was fine with it when I was done.
Don't do that with your garage open.
Yeah, no doubt.
Fiberglass flying everywhere.
Thomas, you've got an awesome collection, man, and we could really go into the minutia of it. I would love to do that sometime, but I really appreciate you letting us show it up. We've got a few more things to talk about here, and I want you to stick around with us if you can.
Sure.
We got a little bit of Star Wars news, Josh. that a couple of items are coming out that I think you'll be interested in. That I think that we're all kind of excited about here. So you want to hit our Star Wars news
we had
here?
a couple. I mean, we talked about Sideshow. Obviously, Thomas is the Sideshow dude. So we got 3 that I'm pretty excited about. At least I don't know if I'm gonna own all 3, but there is one that I've got my eye on. But the first one right here is the Shore Trooper, who's shown up as, and this is the Mandalorian Shore Trooper right here. I'm trying to make sure I got this right. So they're actually giving us 2. We've got a Mandalorian Shore Trooper, and we've got a Rogue One Shore Trooper, which is the 2. So obviously you see some different markings. Thomas, how do you feel about when you see a figure that you know is going to be $250 or so, $220, and they give you a couple different paint schemes? How do you feel about that? Which one would are you attracted to any of these or
if I were a completist, I'd be upset because
right
you're making me buy both. But I like the dinged up version. I love their appearance in the Mandalorian in this season, and so I'd go with that. I'm 100%. I love the look of the Remnant Stormtroopers, so I'm the Mandalorian version all the way.
No, but that being said, it doesn't look like the Rogue One Shore Trooper is in much better condition, right? So are we just getting a blue paint job on the top here?
Yeah, and he's got a little skirt too.
He's got it. Oh, I guess we have the skirt.
That's true. No comma there.
Well, we have a cloth skirt, or we have a little armor skirt between the two here. So
yeah, there's a slight difference. It's a cool helmet, though. That's all I care about.
I'm glad you're not a completist. I wish I wasn't a completist. So that's why I won't own any of them. No, I'm just
okay. All right.
All right. And the last one, this one I'm pretty excited about. I will own because it is one of the favorite moments for me in The Mandalorian, and that is the Transport Trooper. The helmet is ridiculous. It's great. What is it? A combo of a shore trooper, a TIE fighter pilot, I don't even know.
Yeah, it's like the Rogue One tank trooper.
Yeah, an AT-AT driver. It's just crazy. And he's got a little frowny face. And then again, like I said, it was just one of my favorite moments in The Mandalorian when he lost his armor. He doesn't have his armor. He doesn't have his disintegrator. He doesn't have anything, but he still kicks some butt, which means, he doesn't need the armor to be awesome. So that's why I like that part so much. And then also kind of the cameos with Bill Burr when he's where he's making that helmet work too. I mean, come on, Pedro Pascal is just awesome. He's looking at him like, shut the hell up, which is just awesome. So I'm a big fan of this figure. What do you guys think?
I love the paint scheme. I mean, that goes to the core design of it anyhow. But I love the tank troopers in Rogue One and the AT-ACT drivers, like the skinny walkers that they had at the end of the movie. And I'm all for. Look, I'm a shill for any variant Imperial trooper you want to give me. So I will fully admit that I will buy any of this stuff. You make it slightly different, give it a new paint scheme, and I'm all in.
I think I agree with you. I think that's me too. I think that's what happens is like, Now that being said, how do you feel about like the sequel Stormtroopers? I'm not as big a fan of them. I don't know why. I just I think you already said it. I like that rugged beat up view. And for me, the First Order troopers were too clean. Kind of like the New Hope troopers, but that kind of clean, super clean look. I don't know. I'm a big fan of this guy though. I think he will be on my shelf at whatever cost. What is it? 220. I think that's what we got. 230 for the Shore Trooper Squad Leader. That's why he has those different colorings, and that's this guy right here with the blue. That's the Squad Leader, and then we have the Transport Trooper. He's going to be 220 as well. So it's around like I said, the 220, 250. You never know with Sideshow. They don't have like a set price, so they'll kind of eke them up and down. But
if you've never owned a figure like this and you're thinking about it, I will give my full endorsement. I don't get a dime from Hot Toys or Sideshow. I wish I did, but they're worth the money. I mean, it seems expensive. It is expensive, but like in terms of a display item and in terms of something that you're going to stare at and be like, I got my money's worth out of it. Those 12-inch figures are awesome. And I'm here to tell you, they hold their value as well. I got rid of a few of mine. I had like one too many clone troopers and didn't lose a single penny. Yeah. So anyhow, if you're thinking about it, if you're wavering, get it. It's
Thomas. That's why I'm in. Is like I was considering kind of like unloading my entire Black Series collection to buy some, Hot Toys / Sideshow, whatever. And what scale do you like to go with? You're going with 1/6 or?
I'm all over the place. I like the scale for Sideshow that I like is the 1/6, the 12-inch version. Yeah.
So I was all in, and then when I had the Mandalorian pre-Beskar show up, I was in love. I was like, whoa! I've never experienced this, especially when you open the box and you have all these different. You have different, like you could daily, if you wanted to, be like, how you feeling today, Din?
The two fingers.
Yeah. You're like, Din, how you feeling? You feeling frisky? And you could like put him in a cooler pose, if you wanted to. It doesn't matter. It was like, I actually kind of hated that I put the box away with parts in it. I'm like, God, but they're parts I can't use until I decide that he's doing a different pose, So I was floored. But for that money, I spent far more money on things that do far less. You know what I'm saying? So that was
very true.
I agree with you 100%.
All right,
that's about it for the news there. As far as we're just kind of doing Sideshow news as far as toys go.
Well, there was.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
You want me to talk about it? Yeah. The only other news we have.
I don't know what you're gonna say.
I know. Can't you read my mind right now? Are we force connected? What's going on?
All right, do it.
Hold on. Touch my finger. No, I'm just kidding.
Go ahead.
I was going to talk about Lucasfilms got their IP today for all the gaming. That was crazy. Like they dropped this sizzle track and it had all their video games going on, and so I just wanted to kind of ask a question, just throw it out there a couple minutes here. Like they got their IP back. I mean, EA Games is huge. It's a huge video game company, but they pulled it back. And by the way, EA was successful with a couple of ventures here. Or 3 ventures, right? I mean, Jedi Fallen Order was awesome. There's nothing wrong with that. Battlefront 2 has continued to be viable. It still is. There's people that play it regularly. And then, of course, Squadrons just popped out there. I think Squadrons is a little more limited in its scope as far as how long its playability, but there's people that are religiously playing it right now. So what do you think that move was all about? I'm very curious. I haven't read any articles today because it happened today, so I kind of backed off. And I think we're going to have an article up on BeyondTheBlastdoors.com kind of diving into it.
From Shannon.
From Shannon.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
I'm all for it. They're the content. They are who they're getting their content from. So it makes sense to keep it in house. I would think that they would be the best able to put out exactly what they want, right? Instead of farming it out to EA or other companies, But I don't really know that world too well. So
I thought it really interesting that during that sizzle, and that's what they labeled it as, like what they call it, the video game sizzle. They put Knights of the Old Republic in there. So I thought that was really interesting. That's an old game.
So it's an old game, but it's an extremely popular game.
I know, but think about the implications. That's what I'm saying. It's like they put that in there. That's literally like Nintendo being like, hey, we bought back our Zelda IP from whoever we loaned it out to, and then we're putting Mario Brothers 1 in our sizzle track just to let you know. That's what I feel like. It was like, that is an old game. So
that tells me that they're going to build off of it, that we're going to get more Old Republic.
Why?
I'll tell you right now, it's going to be that sort of platform, that style of game, but for the High Republic.
Is that what you're thinking?
Oh, totally. They have gone all in on this High Republic concept. It's massive in scope, and I think Jedi Fallen Order has been proof positive that you can have a very, very successful single player game, and look no further than games like Skyrim or Witcher for proof that you don't have to have an MMORPG or some other multiplayer game like that. Yeah, you can have an insular game that it's just you, me, and the TV, and that's it, and it could be successful. And the staying power of Old Republic, I think, is proof of that. So they've got the story, the characters here. They're building it out in these books and comics that are unfolding before our eyes, and I think we're gonna, before the end of the year, get an announcement on that.
And this is where we're very naive. So if you're hearing this and we're saying things wrong, just let it be known that I've only just kind of heard a couple statements. I watched the sizzle video. I don't know all the details. Apprentice Ewok puts up a question. EA still has a license through 2023. I think probably from a monetary standpoint, if you have like one of the EA through Xbox, you can get like the EA Connect where you're getting all their games through Game Pass or whatever. So possibly that's what's still happening. They're still going to get revenue from all the games they produce through 2023. But I think the intellectual property is now in Lucasfilms, or dare we say LucasArts. So I don't know any of those details. We're just throwing it out there as news. If we're saying stuff that's incorrect, believe me, we're fine with being corrected. But it is very interesting. I just found it very interesting that Old Republic showed up. I love your take, Thomas. I think maybe that's a good build on, like, look, Old Republic, High Republic, but Old Republic is so popular. I'm just wondering if we're going to get some sort of reboot there, which might propel a High Republic boot, and then an Old Republic trail of content, at least from a video,
and
not video
maybe a medium Republic to kind of bridge the gap.
We got old, we got high. What's in the middle of old and high? It's just like blue collar Republic is out there, right now.
Yeah. Well, Josh, to wrap up the news here, just two quick things. If you go to yakface.com and go through his Amazon affiliate, you can get the Emperor Palpatine FX lightsaber for $80 off. You can get it for 160 something bucks.
Oh, really? Through Yakface? I didn't bring that up. I apologize.
If you go through his Amazon affiliate, he's got it for a nice little discount there. And I know you have a few lightsabers, Thomas. I know you have a few lightsabers there. Do you have the Senator Palpatine?
I do not, but you are tempting me, and my phone is just a little too close to me right now.
I'll tell you what, we'll put it down in the description after this show. We'll put a link to Yakface's discount there, because we love that guy or that medium.
This guy.
Give us this guy. It's a guy.
Yeah.
He's got a team now, though, so he still gets to pretend he's a guy, but that's fine. So we'll put that down in the description, a link for you to get there. I'm trying to just get it up on the screen for you guys really quick so I can feel good about myself, because I did miss that. But anyway, interesting stuff in the news. Go ahead.
And the last bit is kind of a sour note. Myself and far too many others today got a message from Walmart saying that they weren't delaying the new build-up Mando with Child vintage collection figure. They weren't delaying it again. They were flat out canceling orders today, and that sucks. And I don't pre-order a lot from Walmart, but it just, whether it's not packed in any sort of packing or orders being canceled, I'm about done with pre-ordering from Walmart. And I don't know how you feel about it, Josh or Thomas, if you're in that same boat, but there were plenty of people on our timeline today that were like, yep, me too, this sucks. I don't understand why. I mean, why allow us to order something if you're going to delay, and then cancel? Like, that just seems, it doesn't seem like a good business practice.
So let's talk about business practices. We know that Walmart has plenty of corporate power, right? So let's ask the question, why do you think Walmart would get stiffed, so to speak, by Hasbro when it comes to fulfilling these pre-orders? And my question would be, there's maybe a couple of options here. You have a buyer from Walmart that overbuys, oversells, or you have a seller from Hasbro that oversells, and the buyer saying, yeah, we'll take them all based on the history of pre-orders, based on the popularity of The Mandalorian. We're very comfortable with saying that we'll take X amount of units from you, and Hasbro doesn't deliver. So I would just challenge you, just to play devil's advocate here. I would challenge you on really taking Walmart to task here. Now, if we talk about their shipping, I've got a Walmart story. We put a Walmart video up. Their shipping's terrible. Whoever's taking care of that is throwing stuff in boxes and letting them get stomped on the way to your house. But with Walmart, I just don't know what the issue is there, and we need to be careful. But it is unfortunate. My question would be, what is Walmart doing for the customers that had these pre-orders? And by its own definition, a pre-order should do what? It should tell the manufacturer what their cap is, what the number of units they need to produce are. But it doesn't seem to make sense right now. So I'm kind of on the fence. Actually, why am I talking? We have a damn lawyer in the room. Help us out here, Thomas.
Yeah, I think this is on Hasbro, and it confounds me how Hasbro will open pre-orders on its site and not just sell whatever is sold, or I just don't understand that, especially when you compare it to something that they can scale, like the Barge or like the Razor Crest. I understand that HasLab is a different model, but it seems to me, and perhaps I'm missing some piece of the puzzle here, but it seems to me that if they're artificially capping something, like a figure production line, they're losing out on money. And I hate retailer exclusives. I hated them 10 years ago. I hated them 15 years ago. I hate them today. I understand why they exist, but they're the bane of my existence. And this is where you run into problems, because when pre-orders get canceled like this and you can't get that figure that you thought you had a lock on, now you're either faced with hunting it down somewhere, buying it off the secondary market, which sucks. It's not a good situation, and you can't get it anywhere else. I was in that boat with the Ahsoka Clone Trooper, the Black Series 6-inch one. Just looked for that forever and had to have a buddy of mine end up getting an extra and sending it over to me. But it's don't get me started on all that.
So what do you, I mean, let me just counter a little bit here with the exclusives. I mean, the exclusives offer what opportunity to the retailer? They offer an opportunity for them to, draw people to them, give awareness to whatever product they're exclusively offering. You just hate the fact that you have to go from here to here to there to kind of get the collection you
get
want.
It from a business standpoint. Don't give me, if I'm Walmart, I'd be like, give me your hottest figure. I want that. I want that Ahsoka Clone Trooper, because I know it's going to pull people into the store. They're probably going to buy other Star Wars toys while they're on the aisle. As a customer, I hate that. Maybe when I was collecting, like if I were like a reseller that was buying this stuff up and selling it back at cons, like that maybe slightly drives up the value a little bit. But to me, as a consumer, it just artificially drives up demand. And I
think that's the issue. I think that's the issue. You just said it. The resellers, the scalpers, whatever you want to call them, they're diving into the stores. They're making contacts in the stores. They're making friends with the stock boy. They're doing all the things they can so they can get that box first. Look, Andy and I have partaken in that. We've gone in and been like, hey, let's buy one of these. Oh, you have two? Let's buy two of these. I mean, we were in line for the first edition Mandalorian that came in the white box. We didn't know what it was worth. We just knew we wanted it immediately. We all bought. We were 5 and 6 in line. The guy behind us was 7. They only had 6. We bought them all. Now those things are worth $200 a piece. We were not going in there to resell them, but in hindsight, I can see where somebody in a Target can just be like, "Hey, give me that full box. Here's your $100 for 5, or whatever." Mm-hmm. And then they've literally got $1,000 box in their hands, So, but isn't that the collecting world? I just never know how to feel about.
It's
about
only
this stuff.
Finding things in the wild is only fun when it works out. Otherwise, then it's like everybody's shorthanded. But if you happen to be there on the day where they pull them out, or you get you catch wind of this will be available on this date and you get there first, well, then it's awesome because you had the thrill of the hunt. But, you know, if I know that I'm not going to hunt like this particular figure, then I'm going to pre-order it. And that should be good. As far as I'm concerned, a pre-order, when you send it, when you lock that in, you send it in, to me, that should be good. We are entering in an agreement, right? If they send me the thing and then I cancel payment, they're still going to expect that from me, right? Because we entered in an agreement. Yeah. If I was holding up my end of the deal, they didn't hold up their end of the deal for whatever reason, wherever that path doesn't meet up, where the numbers for the demand don't meet with the numbers on the shelves, you know, unfortunately, that's not anything I can do anything about, except reach out to my buddy Mark, who lives in the United Kingdom, and he's going to grab one for me, because apparently that's where they all went. They all went to the UK. So he grabbed me one, and
it's Brexit.
I'm
That's what did it. It's Brexit. Brexit took our pre-orders.
Look, I'm gonna make a 1-800-lawyer commercial right now. You heard it exclusively on the Holochronicles. We're gonna get a class action suit. I don't care what else is going on in the real world. What other priority?
Is a panel.
Look, if you've been wronged, if you've had a Mandalorian figure taken from you, you call me 1-800-DINJARIN, and you know I will get you justice.
Hashtag 1-800-DINJARIN. That is
perfect.
The best, Thomas.
Doing a press conference in full 501st kit.
Oh man,
we'll be standing there, and, you know, yes, I ordered from Walmart and they canceled their order. Yeah, that's awesome.
Can we please? All right, there's the news. Look, we're all disgruntled. Poor Andy missed out on a figure. Blah, wham, wham, wham. He's gonna
I'm gonna get it.
He's gonna get it. So can we just talk about the elephant literally spinning in the room? Can we do that finally?
Yes. So as advertised on the thumbnail for this video,
right? At the end, to wait till the end. We're sorry, but yes.
Well, that's right. That's how you keep them, right?
That's how you keep them, just like Walmart.
So we're gonna follow through, by golly. So I've been hunting for a couple of Holy Grail items for a while now, and there have been some close transactions that have taken place that fell through at the last minute. Thankfully, I tried to buy a Vinyl Caped Jawa about 3 weeks ago. Now it's about a month ago, and thank goodness it fell through, because if I had followed through with it, I think I would have been taken for a nice chunk of change, because you always got to be careful, you know, especially if you can't hold it in your hand to examine it. I get really nervous about buying high dollar items online, even if it's through eBay or, you know, it's something that involves PayPal where you are afforded a little bit of protection. But I purchased a Vinyl Caped Jawa from a man in France.
Bonjour.
And bonjour. So buying overseas makes me nervous. Buying not through eBay
Andy can't swim.
Makes me nervous.
That's why.
Sorry. And so, like, there were a few reasons for me to just say, you know what, I'm not comfortable with this. Let's not do it. And there were a couple of opportunities talking back and forth with this guy. His name was Terry, spelled theory. And
Terry.
But we communicated. We had a number of correspondences back and forth to each other. He took more pictures for me. He was very communicative. He seemed to know exactly what he was talking about. He wasn't just some schmuck with a picture, you know. And so we did the deal, and it took a couple weeks for it to arrive. And now I currently have it in a secret underground location in the Rockies, but I put up a video camera feed so that we can all see this.
Is it next to like all the seeds and everything that will happen during an apocalypse? Or is that what it is?
Yes.
What is it? Thomas, what's the name of that place?
Oh, you're talking about NORAD's headquarters?
Yeah, NORAD's headquarters. All right. Straight from NORAD's headquarters, this is what we got. Oh, Andy.
And Yeah, make that the big one.
I will.
Ooh.
And there's your thing. I'm going to remove that from the stream. Dang. You know, I'm just going to solo this guy. There we go.
Yes. This is a Vinyl Caped Jawa. This is one of the hardest and rarest figures to get, one of the more expensive ones. And I think I got him for a very good price, given his absolutely perfect condition. His eyes are nice and round. His hands have great paint. There's no paint rub on the fingertips. The cape is absolutely perfect. It fits snugly around the arms. It is the right color. It makes the little noise when you rub the back of the cape, like a little zipper noise, kind of. That's how they describe it. My goodness. It is even better than I could have imagined. And I am so happy. I'm so happy that I'm really happy that he's loose too. I love the fact that I can hold him and move his arms, and I can actually feel the texture of his cape. Now, he is good enough to be graded, I believe, and that is one of our goals for this year, is to get some things graded. I believe this guy will be one of those items. And like question. I said, go ahead.
Here's a good question for Anthony. If you purchase this Star Wars toy in the 1970s and 80s like we did you automatically get a Vinyl Caped Jawa? I thought ours had a cloth cape. Am I wrong?
The majority that came out had the cloth capes because
Mark actually is answering the question for you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you know what? It wouldn't surprise me at all if Mark actually has done a video on it, because he is pretty knowledgeable about this. They were large in part, to put it succinctly, they were large in part cloth robes.
Yeah, that's what I have. It's what you had prior to this dude.
Yeah, and there's even a few different versions of the cloth robe Jawa, but and then there's the removable hood Meccano version, which is kind of wild. But yeah, this little guy right here, it is incredibly small. It is a very small figure, but he's perfect. I'm happy with him.
He's gorgeous.
He really is right off the production line.
I agree. He is gorgeous. I can't see. The only thing I saw, and I think this is common, right? A little bleeding in the eyes as far as the paint, the yellow paint goes, right? Just a little.
You know what?
Don't touch him. I want to see him spin. Don't touch him. We can see it right there.
Well, you can kind of see him. I promise you, I'll post some pictures tomorrow, but the eyes are nice and yellow and round.
Right. Okay.
They're perfect.
I'm just saying that. Yeah. I'm just saying that, like, a little, sorry, he's perfect. Never mind.
It's so good. It's so good.
Look, they're asking. Okay, you pick it up. You can pick him up. Go ahead. It's your guy.
Right,
I just love the spin. Like, I can watch this for like 30 minutes, right, Thomas?
It's like a QVC.
Yeah. So what you have here is you have a Vinyl Caped Jawa.
We're gonna talk about him for about 2 hours.
Look at the bandoliers. He's beautiful. Oh God, a disgusting thumb. Oh, sorry.
It's our last one. It's been bought. Sorry.
It's been bought. You guys were too late.
And it's a proper blaster too. So.
Oh, you left it. Yeah. Now, actually, I'm just gonna put the blaster up for everyone to see. There you go.
It's a perfect blaster.
It's a perfect blaster. Dee-dee. All right, here we go. Move your big head. Let's get it. Let's get him in. Oh, ooh. Wow. Oh, a little further back. Just move him back a hair. Yep, there's a good focus.
Perfect.
His eyeballs are nice.
They are nice. They are nice.
And one thing, he
is small. Look how big your hands are.
I know.
So tiny. You pay too much. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, per plastic, it's not a good deal. But the camera wants to focus on other things. But the cape should just barely be above his feet. Daggone it. And it's the right color. You'll often see people trying to swindle non-educated vintage collectors by putting an Obi-Wan cape on him and trimming his cape, but it's a different color. The cape should match the color of the Jawa. It's absolutely incredible.
Look at
awesome.
The Galactic
First
Curator.
scale.
Hope you drive it to the grading place, right? You gonna put him in the mail? I mean, he came in the mail from France, right? So he's survived.
He's good, man.
You insure him. All right. Have you? Are you gonna share how much you paid?
Do you want me to? I can. I don't have a problem with that.
I just. Well, you know, did you get a good deal? Did you get a fair deal? Did you overpay? Let's ask the group.
I don't believe I overpaid. I think I got him for a good price. I paid $1,300 for him. So, after I get him graded, you know, that could potentially double his price if let's say he's an 80. I think that would double his price, and I do strongly believe that he is at least an 80. So,
okay. I'm just having fun watching the gun spin there. Oh, now you've put me into place.
I'd say the best part of getting graded is, and I guess they do it with the loose figures like that. Assuming you get it put into the acrylic case, that thing is just beautiful. There's no better way to display, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and we have a few different opinions, like we always do, on grading loose figures. I am a huge fan of that acrylic case. I mean, part of the value of grading to me is its displayability in that case. So when I see that, it's almost just an upgrade for my loose figure. That's how I feel. Like that's an upgrade to how I feel about that figure. It's got the little seal. They've got a hologram on there. I mean, that's high-tech stuff right there, holograms. So I was like, yeah, I'll take it. Is it even a hologram, or what do they call that? I don't know. It's just it's like your driver's license.
And to your point about the price, so some of the money that we got from that set that we sold a little bit ago came, this is what I got as part of that deal. And I sold a bunch of things, and as collectors, we play this game of like, would I rather have this or would I rather have that? Would I rather have these 15 things or would I rather have this one thing? And so, I was doing that a lot over the last few months, preparing myself to be in a position to buy something like this. And I was going back and forth between a double telescoping Luke or the Vinyl Caped Jawa, and I was prepared to go either way. I couldn't do both because I don't have that kind of resources, but I felt like this was a really good deal. It was in really good shape. When I got them in my hand, I was not disappointed.
You were happy, and that's
all
that matters, right?
Yeah, that's it right there.
Very happy. You've
been
happy.
Beaming all week. You've just been beaming. I mean, honestly, let's look at this guy. Just look at this guy right here. That's the face of a guy that just got a VCJ. He's good to go. He's happy. He's high-fiving his kids. He's hugging his wife. Everything's good in his life, and that's all that matters, especially in these trying times. If you're gonna drop $1,300 somewhere, you drop it on some happiness.
They don't know I have this.
Oh, sorry. He's hugging his wife out of secrecy. I'm sorry. You just got outed, man.
If anybody tells her what I spent on it, you're dead to me. No, I'm just kidding. No, but like I'm over the moon about it. I hope everybody gets to experience something like this. Everybody has a favorite figure, favorite character, and when you finally work your way to get it, setting off some time and resources to get there, it's a fun moment, and one that collectors are constantly shooting for and trying to get to, and I feel like I've done that with this purchase here. I've hit a mark that I'm very happy about today. So
well, I'm very happy for you, my friend. Obviously, we need to bring this in for a landing for our dear friends in the UK that have stayed up this late to see this guy right here. Oh, he's missing. Oh, darn it. Who stole him? Yeah, but we appreciate you guys so much for staying in with us. And Thomas, what a great look. Here's my issue, Thomas. I want to go through every tribunal with you. I want to talk about the details. As a matter of fact, I want to set up. We need to have. I think we need to make a segment on toys, and let's do a little lawyer action together. I think that Andy and I combined could get our asses kicked by you handily on every contested issue we want to bring up with you, which I think would be great. But I think it would be a fun thing to just kind of compare. Like, look, we just recently had the vintage collection or the archive collection, Han Solos with differing color variations. We could debate that, and you could take one side and we could take the other. It would be
Star Wars gavel.
Yeah, Star Wars gavel. Yes, it's a lightsaber that squeaks when you hit the. Yeah, it would be great. But thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me.
Fantastic stories. Make sure you go to beyondtheblastdoors.com. Check out Thomas's collection. The YouTube video is linked there for his con. What was it? I'm sorry, I don't know which one it was.
The Poe Dameron.
The
court marshaling.
The court marshaling of Poe Dameron. And anything else you want to plug, Thomas?
If you can find me on Twitter at Thomas L. Harper. That L is in Lee, so it's the height of creativity. And I have a brand new podcast that I'm on with started with a professor out of West Point and a professor out of the Naval Academy called The Joint Geeks of Staff. And you can find it on Twitter at The Joint Geeks. It's a bunch of national security professionals deep diving into everything from Star Wars. We just did an episode on Star Trek Discovery and like leadership development as seen through that lens. Our first episode debuted on New Year's Day, and it was about the Mandalorian and sort of deep diving the New Republic and the Imperial Remnant and some issues there. So you could find it at The Joint Geeks on Twitter.
At The Joint Geeks? I'm sorry.
Joint Geeks.
At The Joint Geeks. Sorry, I was trying to type it up here in the chat. So
I am by far the least impressive co-host. We've got a State Department Foreign Service officer. We've got an F-15 Strike Eagle weapon system officer with like 1,500 combat hours in the cockpit. We've got professors from the Naval Academy, from West Point. We've got war game designers, and then there's me. So it's a good show. It's a lot of interesting folks talking about stuff we all love.
Awesome.
Well, Thomas, awesome. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for joining us here on the Holochronicles. Thanks for sharing your cool stories. I can't wait to have you back on. I feel like Andy, just between you and I feel like it's pretty good to have a lawyer on our side, given some of the statements we've made. So other than that,
We'll throw him a few figures every now and then.
That's right. That's my retainer.
Yeah, we've got him on retainer, right? Just hope we never have to give up that Vinyl Caped Jawa to get us out of some business. But thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for joining us in the chat. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Holochronicles. Go to beyondtheblastdoors.com and YouTube at Beyond the Blast Doors. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, give your wife a kiss, give your husband a kiss, give everyone a kiss. We love you. And Andy, what do we do?
We play with our toys. Go play with your toys.